Reshuffling the world's archaic political stage, Russia's Vladimir Putin and his Chinese counterpart are looking to lay the first bricks in Beijing today. From aero-space to nano-development and energy, there's much on the table. Well, for more on the much-hyped meeting and what's at stake, let's take a listen to RT's Marina Kosareva.
This is Prime Minister Vladimir Putin's first visit since announcing his candidacy in the upcoming presidential elections. And this may signal a change in focus for Russia. For many years, the West has been dominating the political stage for Russia. But China's economic progress may have Moscow looking east. And many analysts are saying that the strategic partnership between the two biggest and fastest growing economies could shift the power balance in the world. Now, both nations have supported each other throughout the years on issues related to sovereignty, security, and development. They also have similar political views, and we've seen this just recently when both of them vetoed a European-drafted UN security resolution which was condemning Syria and was suggesting that it could face sanctions if it continued its crackdown on protesters. Now, both the countries are also members of the BRICS alliance, along with India, Brazil, and South Africa. And the continued economic uncertainty in Europe and the U.S. have seriously undermined the dominance of Europe and the U.S. of the world political stage. And it has cleared the way for emerging powers such as Russia and China. Now, this year, China has climbed back up and passing Germany, and it's now Russia's #1 trade partner. And actually, Vladimir Putin said that he expects that trade turnover this year could reach $70 billion. And by 2020, they want that number to grow to $200 billion. Also, the Russian Prime Minister today is expected to sign a sweeping cooperation on technical modernization. And what this means is that China will benefit from Russia's leadership in nuclear energy, space, and aviation. Now, Russia, on the other hand, will take advantage of Chinese superiority in high-speed rail transport, power generation equipment, and alternative energy production. And officials from both countries have actually said that this is the best their relationship has been in years. And today will, of course, be another opportunity to strengthen that.
Marina Kosareva reporting there from Beijing. Well, for more on just how strong the Sino-Russian relationship is, I'm now joined by Francis Lun, Managing Director of investment company Lyncean Holdings, live from Hong Kong. Francis, thanks very much for being here with us in the program.
Hi.
Well, as we know, the relations between Russia and China have been on the bumpy road for some time, and it's only for the past maybe decade that we're seeing the emergence of friendship and strengthening of relations. So tell us what's behind this post-Soviet thaw, in your opinion?
Well, both economically, politically, and strategically, I think China and Russia is a good fit because, as your correspondent just said, the U.S. and Europe joined together is really dominating global politics. I think China and Russia can join together to offer a counterweight and not let them dictate the agenda around the world. And the recent veto by Russia and China on the Syrian question is a good example. But on the economic front, China has a big population, while Russia has a very small population, but a lot of resources. So Russia can supply a lot of resources to China, notably oil and gas, natural resources like minerals and timber. And while China can supply cheap consumer goods to Russia. So I think for in a lot of aspects, China and Russia have a lot room to cover, and that can develop into a mutually beneficial relationship.
Well, in your opinion, how this mutually beneficial relationship, which is likely to grow, as you said, how is this likely to affect the rest of the world, and how, what sort of reaction are we likely to get from, say, the U.S. and Europe to this?
Of course, Europe and U.S. will not be happy with it because Europe the U.S. is joining together in the form of NATO, which is encroaching eastward toward the Russia. And of course, Russia do not like this to happen. And also elsewhere in the world, in the Middle East, Africa, even in Latin America, the USA is dictating its agenda to the rest of the world. And both China and Russia want to be a counterweight. Don't want to let America to dictate their strategic interests and political interests globally. So I think in this area, especially that China and Russia are both permanent Security Council members, both have a veto. And so in this area, China and Russia can really do a lot and also really can be a counterweight to the U.S. with its ally, the European Union.
Well, Russia and China are both in the UN Security Council, as you just mentioned, and they're also part of the BRICS bloc. So tell us a bit more about this bloc's role in the world. Is it likely to turn into a political power in the future, you think?
I don't think the BRICS bloc will be a political power. It will most probably be a economic power because India is very anti-China, so there is no way that India can cooperate with China. But on the other hand, the Shanghai Protocol, the Central Asia Alliance for countries like Kazakhstan, Turkmenia, Kyrgyzstan, and Russia, and this in Central Asia, I think China and Russia can protect their strategic interests and political interests there, and will not let America to mount a staging post from Afghanistan. So this is very important for both countries.
Well, Mr. Lun, very briefly before we let you go, what is the public attitude towards the relations between Russia and China, towards the strengthening relations, I should say?
I think most people will welcome it. Of course, I think people see it as really a good fit in terms of what you can get from each other. And China wants to get resources from Russia, and of course Russia will want industrial goods cheap industrial goods from China. So it works both ways.
All right, Francis Lun, Managing Director of investment company Lyncean Holdings. Thanks very much indeed for sharing your views with us here on our team.